If you're a youth basketball coach, you've probably watched clinics from great high school and college coaches and thought, that sounds good, but it's not my reality. Different gym times, different skill levels, different attention spans. In this video, we're sharing 7 tips specifically for youth coaches. But here's what makes them different. Every one of these ideas comes from elite high school and college coaches and been adapted for the youth level. So instead of theory that only works with varsity or scholarship players, you're getting practical advice designed for your practices, your players, and your season. Before we get to the drills, make sure to click the link in the description below to gain access to a free PDF that includes complete youth practice plans and over 20 bonus youth practice drills, featuring diagrams, descriptions, and additional tips. Now let's get started.
The motion system can be applied throughout an entire feeder program. So as we approach the high school, we want a complete product. We want to be able to use every angle of a screen. We want to be able to utilize our spacing. We want to be able to play hard and aggressive. Now we have 6th graders that want to do the same thing, or we want them to do the same thing as they rise up and become big time parts to our program. It does start at a young level. At the very, very young level, let's say 4th and 5th grade, we want to teach footwork, ball handling, shot pocket, all the simple things that we all know about. As we get into a more competitive structured offense with our younger players, we don't really want to use all of the screens because it'd just be too much for them. We'll generally start out with passing and cutting, then we'll add a down screen, then we'll add a back screen, and then the flare screen we'll add as we go. So a 6th grade team should be able to down screen. A 6th grade team should be able to pass and cut. A 7th grade team should be able to pass and cut, down screen, set the occasional flare screen, and even a back screen. They should also be able to recognize a slip. An 8th grade team should look like a miniature varsity team because now their bodies have changed and their minds have changed a little bit so that they can really process this information. I've seen it happen. I've seen our 6th graders transition into 7th and 8th grade, and it's amazing what happens if you just stick with them in the gym. Short-sided games are big for our development, where we go 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and even sometimes 4-on-4, where we just basically make it it's an automatic that you have to down screen initially, or we have to go back to the screener in order to get them involved and understand the importance of that. So yeah, it is an evolution of sorts, if you will. It's not easy, but it does take a lot of time. But if you commit to this from your 6th grade, 7th, 8th grade, your freshman team, your JV team, and all the way up to your varsity team, what you will find is that each level, the level of IQ just is better than your opponents a lot of times. And it's just a good brand of basketball that I enjoy watching, where kids are sharing the ball and they're excited for each other.
If I was a younger coach, a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade coach, and I was trying to implement this, I think one of the best things to do is actually to show them some film. If you have this video and you're thinking about starting with 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I would show them some of the 3-on-0. I'd show them, hey, here's 4 minutes of a down screen. Let's watch the down screen, and then let's go do the down screen on the court. And so if you have an iPad and you have this on an iPad, or you have the ability to show it to them on a TV somewhere, even show a small group of kids the video on a phone, just show them the visual thing that you're trying to achieve. You're trying to achieve a down screen. Show them a couple of the reads, and then go do those. And that may be the only thing you do in one day is a down screen and a curl and a dive and a slip, just a couple things. But I think showing them the actual visual goal is a really good thing. And then the next day or a couple days later, you show them the next thing. But I think the younger players need to kind of see what you're shooting for and then go forward onto the court with it. I think that's a great place to start for those young kids that a lot of them are visual learners.
Coaches, are you tired of scrambling every week to build practice plans, figure out drills, and just hoping your team improves? With the youth coaching system from Coach Jim Huber, you get 64 plug-and-play practice plans tailored for ages 9 to 14, plus step-by-step instruction for your offense, defense, skill development, press breakers, zone offense, and more. Everything you need, all in one place. Imagine, no more last-minute Googling for drills. No more trial and error. Just smart, age-appropriate teaching that develops high IQ players, builds confidence, and makes practice fun. Give your team structure, skill, and success. Click the link now to get lifetime access to the youth coaching system and coach with confidence.
The man left could be used almost at any level. All the way to the NBA level, a lot of teams are forcing weak hand. and most of the time that's to their left hand, but modifying it all the way down to 4th, 5th, 3rd grade level, it would be even more effective. And you could do something as simple as this. When your player has the ball, just force them to the left. If I'm coaching against 5th grade girls or 5th grade boys, I see this in youth games all the time. If you will just simply angle, no matter where you are, you don't even have to split the court into thirds like we do. Okay, we split it into thirds because guys can snake back and forth and they're pretty skilled at our level. But like if you're in a youth game and you simply do this and angle your feet so that the ball handler has to go to the left, it will be very effective. Just watch, okay, just watch. And you can even do that when they're out here. And I know most teams are, well, keep in front, that's what we do. But at the youth level, in 4th, 5th grade basketball, not a lot of kids can dribble as fast as they can to the left and make it to the basket. That's one of the things I would suggest for lower levels, is just get them used to angling to the left and making their feet so that everything, so we teach our guys, as you'll see in the video, we're pretty much straight up, but we influence a little bit. At the youth level, I would have my feet like this to really force to the left. Instead of having thirds at the youth level, you could just split it right down the middle of the floor. And that really simplifies it. If you're over here, then you force to the left. If you're over here, you play straight up. And if you're over here, you can play at this angle or even this angle. Because we've all seen youth games, as soon as they catch it, they're going to the right. As soon as they catch it here, to the right.
The ages that we typically run our 2-3 zone is at the varsity level only. I have a personal philosophy, having young children of my own that play in 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, travel in AAU leagues. I think presses and zones should be illegal. If I was master of basketball universe, it would all be illegal until middle school. I'm going to explain why, but the reality is you can send two people at the ball and take away a swing pass, a pass up the sideline, and a cutter, and they're not strong enough to make the skip pass or the pass down the floor. So fundamentally, it's almost cheating to do zone or press at those young ages. You're just trying to win games, which is fine, I guess, but it's not going to get you the long-term results you're looking for. The earliest that my staff and I discussed doing this is 8th grade. We don't really teach it or run it in 8th grade, but we are contemplating doing that in 8th grade. Our JV team plays man-to-man. Our varsity team is when we implement our zone. Having good or the ability and understanding of man-to-man defense will help you in your zone. So that's why we generally implement our zone at the varsity level. In the future, if we want to implement it at the JV level or lower, we're not 100% against it, but we still think philosophically that starting it at the younger ages is doing a disservice to our kids.
Another thing you could do is switch every screen, and that really throws a lot of lower level teams off. I think even at the middle school level, I go to a lot of middle school games, and just switching alone really messes teams up, and it also gets your kids ready for when they get to me. And that's where the game is headed, switching 1 through 4 if you can, switching 1 through 5 if you can. So it gets them some of those concepts, and it develops some of those higher level basketball concepts when they're at much younger ages. And when they've done it, even if they've done it very few times at the lower levels, they're not introduced to it for the first time when they get to me. And so we switch 1 through 4 all the time, and a lot of times we switch 1 through 5. And so, you know, those concepts, if kids have been, at least introduced to them when they're younger, really helps.
So if you're a youth program, like for instance, my son is going into 4th grade. He plays against a lot of teams that pressure all over the floor because they want to get a medal on Sunday at the end of an AAU tournament. How do we manage it? Number one, I want my kids to know that even if we're getting beat by 20 and they're keeping the press on. I want them to keep pressing, because the only way you're going to get better against pressure is to get pressed. Do I think it's right? No, I think it's terrible. It's a huge mistake. But the reality is, you can spin anything that's bad to being good, and you can spin anything good to being bad. So whoopee-doo, you're winning AAU tournaments by pressing teams all over the floor. That's fine. But are you doing the kids a disservice by doing that? Maybe, maybe not. You're getting the trophy, you're doing that thing. The opposite of that is, I'm welcoming as a coach. Instead of getting mad at the other coach or yelling at the officials or this or that or the other thing, hey guys, we might not win this game, but we're gonna get better at handling pressure. It's a humbling moment to be able to be in the face of all this adversity and be calm for your kids. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody to back them up, even though they're getting their butts kicked. Now, what would I do to make an adjustment? I would probably, against pressure, go 4 or 3 up. If I go 3 up, what I'm looking for against pressure is a couple of things. You can stagger your 3 up, okay? So what might happen here is that instead of putting my person deep in a youth program, what I might do is put a person at half court on one side or the other. Here's why. If we stagger and we do the screen and step back with probably our 2 best players here, if we can get the ball in, you can throw a quick regular pass up the sideline. Now, at that level, you're talking about kids that may or may not be able to catch that ball. Can you teach them to step and come back? Maybe. It kind of, once again, you might be listening and saying, there's no way Johnny can do that. Or there's no way Susie is ever going to be able to screen and step back. But you have to start somewhere. And as long as you're giving them the looks, what they're looking for, you're probably in business. Now, chances are, and my soon-to-be 4th grade son takes the ball out of bounds. He's also the best ball handler. So in a youth situation, if he can throw it in and the person that screened becomes the swing, I might send him as my cutter, and then you can get it right back to him, and now you've got numbers going up the sideline. Once again, it's turning into a track meet. It's probably going to end in tears. Manage the tears. Breathe in, breathe out. They're doing this to speed us up. How can we slow down? How can we be under control when they're trying to create chaos? And I think those are the types of conversations, and that's what it starts with. It starts with the mentality and a conversation, so that you're not yelling and screaming at a kid that's getting trapped and you know, they're throwing this at him and that at him. And that's okay. Don't worry about that. Make it an experience that you guys persevere through together, and it's going to be great.
Now, where does Ivy have space? That way, right? Okay, so if she goes, you don't have to dribble, just walk. If she goes this way, she's driving her car, okay? Her taillights are that number 4 on her back. You want to get into her taillights. So you want to come around this way, because if she does her stride stop and she gets here, you have a chance to get the ball, okay? If you don't do that, we have no way to get you the ball. Does that make sense? So in general, when a person goes that way, you want to get in their taillights, okay? When she turns around, you're in her headlights and she can see you, okay? Rewind. So Ivy's here. Good, and you were back on that side. Now, if Ivy does go this way, even though she doesn't have the space, what do you think this person can do? Yeah, you can cut. Excellent, come on back, rewind. If you see your because you were right here, right? If you see your teammate's back, she turns her back, she turns, you burn, and you just burn right to the basket, okay? If she stays there, what do you think you could do to make space? Hold on. Are you making space if I go this way, or am I taking space? Yeah, go that way. Okay, get away. I want to make space, so I get pushed away. Now, who can't be right? Can you be right? Go over there, guard her. What did she make? Good. Space, we could score. Rewind. Stay here and try to help. Go ahead, dribble. What would you do? Throw it there. Okay? So right now when we do this, you want to get in your partner's taillights, but if she's coming at you with her headlights, do you want to run right into the car? No, get away from it. Move away. So then you want to move away from there. Okay? So as you're playing here, just think of that. Going in, I got to be taillight, but if she's driving at me, I got to get out of the headlights. Okay?
We hope you enjoyed this youth coaching tips video. If you want instant access to sample youth practice plans as well as over 20 bonus youth practice drills, make sure to click the link in the description below so you can gain access to a free PDF featuring diagrams, descriptions, and bonus tips. Be sure to like and subscribe and then click the bell button so you're the first to know when we release more new videos. Thanks for watching.